Hello and welcome. Telangana's Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao is running with old horses and yet hoping to score a hat-trick. A tall challenge even for a tall leader like KCR in Telangana. What I must point out is that very often campaign slogans set the mood for an election, and if they catch the public mood and imagination, they can even change the drift of an election. In this particular election, the Bharat Rashtra Samithi is hoping that people will go with the slogan that Manchiga chesindu, malli vasthadu. Meaning to say that he has done well, he will come back again. Whereas the opposition is hoping that people are saying, or rather they would like people to say, samachralu ichcham, marudhdham. Meaning that we have given him 10 years, let's change. Even the BRS admits that 10 years can cause fatigue among the people. But a leader like K. Chandrasekhar Rao's son, KT Rama Rao, who is the working president of the party, believes that it's not possible for any political party for that matter to fulfill all election promises, and he believes that the BRS has fulfilled 90% of the promises, which is a very good record. The second important strategy, should I say, is that just like in 2018 when KCR in fact took everyone by surprise, he dissolved the assembly and also announced his candidates at the same time, advancing the elections the elections actually took place in December. He dissolved the assembly about 2 months earlier in October and got the first mover advantage. This time too he has done something similar. On August 21 itself, he announced almost all his candidates for this particular election. Not only did he announce, immediately the BRS leaders got down to action. What did they do? They went round and tried to reach out to those people who were disappointed, angry that their names were not on the list. They tried to assure them and assuage their hurt feelings and say that they will be taken care of, to try and ensure that they do not become rebels with a cause. The other thing that they have done is that in this interim period, the Chief Minister was indisposed for about 3 weeks with fever, and his true lieutenants, son KT Rama Rao and nephew Harish Rao, both of them covered about 75 constituencies as part of a macro campaign covering about 3 constituencies in a day. They covered about 75, and now is the micro campaign has begun with the local candidates going into the constituencies and doing it, and this is expected to intensify and become even more of a micro campaign. Nominations of course begin on November 3 and till the end of campaigning this will go on and without a break, and November 30 is when of course Telangana votes. So what this has done is to give the BRS a definite edge, a definite advantage, because all this has happened even before the Congress and the BJP have announced their list of candidates. The other big factor for the BRS of course is going to be anti-incumbency, because they have done 2 terms in office and KCR has chosen to repeat more than 90% of his candidates, which really means that of course they know that there is going to be anger, disappointment, frustration with the local incumbent, but they have taken a calculated risk. One is leaders like KTR argue that KCR is still a very popular leader and his popularity is quite unchallenged, and also that in a state election people are not looking so much at the local candidate as the discussion is about who is leading and who is able to fulfill our promises, and in this case they believe that with KCR as the leader they are at a definite advantage. In fact, they even one of the senior leaders even said that if they had changed all the candidates, the BRS would probably score a century in the elections. But no, they have gone with the MLAs and the sitting MLAs and repeated them as well for some factors. I'll tell you what those factors are. One, the BRS has always been a MLA-centric party. They have admittedly taken the Bahujan Samaj Party model, where the MLA is the center of power and authority in every constituency. There is no parallel line of authority, parallel party structure, no layers of party bureaucracy. He becomes the all-powerful, most powerful person in the constituency, and he is really the go-to man for both the party as well as the people in the constituency. The second thing is that this MLA is already very influential because of having been an MLA, and what also happens is that he has both money and muscle to be able to carry the election through. And bringing in a new candidate will actually create anger and two powers of authority, and that could actually become detrimental for the party. There could be rebellion as well. A very clear instruction has gone to this person who has been chosen as the candidate to say that please reach out to whoever you think is your political rival within the party itself and assuage them, try to win them over, how to win friends and ensure that you get a victory. That is what the BRS leaders have instructed these candidates. Of course, in a few constituencies where they have changed the candidates, they have said that it is the winnability which was the factor, and therefore it was based on surveys and data that they had to take such a decision on who will stay and who will be dropped in this. The other important thing is the organization strategy itself. The BRS now these days, it's not just the professional election management agencies which are doing very scientific kind of analysis and then strategies and so on. Political parties like the BRS also do the same thing. Several parties in fact do it, and the BRS also has a central war room, and they also have a war room in every constituencies, which means 119 constituencies there's a war room. And what this does is to give continuous feedback to the team on the ground about the messaging that should be there, the narrative that should go out, and where the party is falling weak, which are the segments that they need to address, where some corrective action can be taken, how to keep everyone alert as well, and what are the trends. All those things, all that kind of a feedback is given by the war room team to the team on the ground, and that is something that has helped the party in more ways than one. The other thing is to go hyper-local. After the Munugod elections, they realized during the Munugod elections that going hyper-local is a very useful strategy, and so what they have done is the Telangana, for instance, has about 3 crore 17 lakh voters, and they have about 3 lakh in charges. So each of those in charges is responsible for about 100 people, and they track those voters, and they've in fact classified the voters as A, B, C, D. A is those who are voting for you definitely, B is those who are doubtful, could go either way, C is those who voted for you but are now perhaps angry with you, and fourth category who don't vote for you. So first A category needs to be consolidated to ensure that he votes again for you, he or she votes again for you. B is someone who needs to be convinced about why they need to vote for the BRS. C is someone who's angry and therefore you need to reach out to that person and address the reason for grouse or anger. And D is a category, of course, if you are able to change that voter's mind, well and good, but otherwise you do not expect to achieve too much on that front. So there is a scientific strategy on reaching out to the voters, and that is what had happened during the Munugod bypoll, which is of course high stakes, high voltage, highest spend ever, and the BRS had managed to win that, and they are hoping that that kind of a hyper local strategy is going to help them. The logic is also that if you had 10,000 voters last time, you may lose as many as 4,000 to 5,000 voters because of disillusionment or some other factors, but you can always get 7,000 to 8,000 new voters into the fold by reaching out to them, and that is what can actually help you improve your score from the last time round. The BRS leaders like K.T. Ramarao in fact believe that during the campaign itself is a charade, because people have long before the campaign started itself decided who they are going to vote for, and that's the reason why their work actually began in April, May itself, when they had these Atmiya Sammelans where they reached out to people, re-energized their cadre, 64 lakh cadre, and held these kind of Sammelans. The units were about 10 villages became one unit, or some municipal divisions became a unit, and there from the top to the grassroots, all the leaders in that area would participate, from the minister, MP, MLC, MLA, corporators, councillors, whoever, or the party workers, grassroots workers, all would work together and re-energize the party and ensure that they are able to get more enrollment as well. That exercise also happened, and it helped them also identify the weaker areas, the areas where the organization is weak, and therefore address if there is a grouse or a dissatisfaction. They were able to address it much before the campaign itself began. And the other thing is not to be complacent. The BRS admits that in 2019 they were complacent after winning 88 assembly seats. In 2018 they thought the parliament elections would be a cakewalk, and they believe that their complacency itself led them to end up at a score of 9 out of 17, only 9 Lok Sabha seats out of 17, and the BJP walked away with 4, and the Congress got 3 seats and 1 of course to Asaduddin Owaisi of the MIM. So while the BJP had in the assembly election got a single seat, Gosha Mahal seat by Raja Singh, but in the parliament election just a few months later they were able to get 4 parliament seats, and that is something that has taught BRS, or rather BRS has sought to take a lesson out of that. The other thing is to not give up even when the it appears as though things are not going too well for the candidate or for the party in a particular area, to keep up the work, to keep your cadre energized and alert and working full steam, because in an election politicians know that one twist and turn can change the election in your favor as well, and therefore they do not give up till the last minute, and that is the messaging that has gone out to the cadre. The other larger issues, of course, of which are the segments which were unhappy and which the CM, for instance, if there was unhappiness among the SC community that the Chief Minister had promised to make a Dalit person as the Chief Minister in 2014, or promised 3 acres of land to the landless Dalit, and that he had not fulfilled those promises. The Chief Minister came up with a innovative new scheme. He came up with something called the Dalit Bandhu, through which they gave 10 lakh rupees to each Dalit family. Of course, they have not been able to do it exhaustively yet, but the hope is there, or kept alive among the people, that everyone is going to benefit from this, which will be a livelihood scheme which can change your economic status at the end of it. Similarly, other segments of the population who felt that they were left out, they were also being offered that this kind of a Dalit Bandhu scheme would be extended to the tribal communities as well. The BCs, for instance, got a 1 lakh cash assistance scheme so that they could get the tools to be able to carry out their traditional livelihood options, and that is something that the Chief Minister hopes will turn the BC vote in their favor. Another matter that the BRS has also not been able to give BCs the kind of representation that they would like. They have asked for more number of seats, but the BRS also has given them only 23 out of the 119 seats. Only 23 belong to the OBC categories, and this is something that the OBCs will certainly be looking forward to. At least that is what the Chief Minister is hoping, that the promise that they have made to the OBCs of the 1 lakh assistance is something that is going to work in their favor. Of course, he has also said that they will be accommodated in other kinds of posts. So this is the overall strategy of the BRS for this particular election. We will come back to you with the Congress strategy and what they are hoping to do to repeat a Karnataka in a Telangana, and what is the BJP doing here in Telangana, where as of now they appear to be making it into a triangular fight. So what is their strategy going to be? All that and more in episodes to come. Thank you so much for watching.